जो एक एस्केलेटरी तौर पे देखी जा रही हैं और प्रोवोकेटिव तौर पे देखी जा रही हैं. I've said on numerous earlier occasions, it is Pakistani actions that have constituted provocation and escalation. In response, and I repeat, in response, India has defended and reacted in a responsible and measured fashion to these provocations and these escalations by the Pakistani side. Earlier this morning, we saw a repeat of this escalatory and provocative pattern, and I'll invite Colonel Sophia Qureshi and Wing Commander Vyomika Singh to update you on the developments since early this morning. Colonel Qureshi.
Thank you, sir. Namaskar. पाकिस्तान सेना ने पूरी पश्चिम मोर्चे पर लगातार आक्रामक गतिविधियां जारी रखी. उसमें यूकैप ड्रोन्स, लॉन्ग रेंज वेपन्स, लॉइटरिंग म्यूनिशंस और लड़ाकू विमानों का उपयोग कर भारतीय सैन्य ढांचे को निशाना बनाया. नियंत्रण रेखा पर भी ड्रोन घुसपैठ और भारी कैलिबर हथियारों से गोलाबारी की. अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सीमा और एलओसी पर श्रीनगर से नलिया तक 26 से अधिक स्थानों पर हवाई घुसपैठ के प्रयास किए गए. भारतीय सशस्त्र बलों ने अधिकांश खतरों को सफलतापूर्वक निष्क्रिय किया. फिर भी वायु सेना स्टेशनों पर उधमपुर, पठानकोट, आदमपुर और भुज बठिंडा स्टेशन, इन सब पर उपकरण व पर्सनल्स को हानि पहुंचाई. मैं ये भी बताना चाहती हूं कि पाकिस्तान ने हाई स्पीड मिसाइल सुबह 1:40 पर इस्तेमाल करके पंजाब के एयरबेस स्टेशन को दागने की कोशिश की. एक निंदनीय और अनप्रोफेशनल एक्ट के तहत पाकिस्तान ने श्रीनगर, अवंतीपुर और उधमपुर के वायु सेना अड्डों पर चिकित्सा केंद्र और स्कूल परिसर को निशाना भी बनाया, जिससे उसके द्वारा सिविल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर हमला करने की गैर जिम्मेदाराना प्रवृत्ति. फिर पाकिस्तान द्वारा सैन्य ठिकानों को जानबूझकर निशाना बनाने के पश्चात भारतीय सशस्त्र बलों ने त्वरित व सुनियोजित टेक्निकल इंस्टॉलेशंस, कमांड एंड कंट्रोल सेंटर, रडार साइट्स और हथियार भंडार को चुनकर निशाना बनाया गया. हथियारों व लड़ाकू जेट से प्रहार किए गए. पसरूर स्थित रडार साइट बेस भी प्रिसीजन अम्यूनिशन से टारगेट किए गए. इससे कम कोलैटरल डैमेज की क्षति सुनिश्चित की. चिंता का विषय यह रहा कि पाकिस्तान ने लाहौर से उड़ान भरने वाले नागरिक विमानों की आड़ लेकर अंतर्राष्ट्रीय हवाई मार्गों का दुरुपयोग किया ताकि वह अपनी गतिविधियां छिपा सके. ऐसी चालों ने भारतीय वायु प्रतिरक्षा तंत्र को नागरिक सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित करते हुए अत्यधिक संयम के साथ कार्य करने के लिए विवश किया. साथ ही साथ पाकिस्तान ने मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन का सहारा लेते हुए आदमपुर स्थित S-400 प्रणाली, सूरतगढ़ व सिरसा के हवाई अड्डों, नगरोटा के ब्रह्मोस बेस, देहरागिरी के तोपखाना पोजीशन तथा चंडीगढ़ के अग्रिम गोला बारूद डिपो को नष्ट करने के झूठे दावे सोशल मीडिया पर फैलाए. भारत इन फॉल्स नैरेटिव्स को पूर्णतः खारिज करता है. नियंत्रण रेखा पर पाकिस्तान ने ड्रोन घुसपैठ और भारी तोपखाना गोलाबारी के कई प्रयास किए. कुपवाड़ा, बारामूला, पुंछ, राजौरी और अखनूर सेक्टर्स में तोप, मोर्टार एवं हल्के हथियारों से भीषण गोलाबारी जारी रही. भारतीय सेना ने प्रभावी व तुलनात्मक प्रत्युत्तर देते हुए पाक सेना को काफी क्षति पहुंचाई. पाकिस्तान सेना के अग्रिम क्षेत्रों में सैनिकों की डिप्लॉयमेंट बढ़ती दिख रही है, जो स्थिति को और भड़काने की मंशा दर्शाती है. भारतीय सशस्त्र बल पूर्ण परिचालन तत्परता की स्थिति में है. अभी तक सभी शत्रुतापूर्ण कार्रवाइयों का प्रभावी ढंग से सामना कर उपयुक्त जवाब दिया गया है. भारतीय सशस्त्र बल दोहराते हैं कि वे तनाव वृद्धि नहीं चाहते, बशर्ते पाकिस्तान भी ऐसा ही व्यवहार करे। आखिर मैं आपको कुछ वीडियो दिखाना चाहती हूं जहां पर इंडियन आर्मी के वेपन्स एलओसी पर पाक के एसेट्स को ध्वस्त करते नजर आ रहे हैं। स्क्रीन में आप देख सकते हैं इस वीडियो को। धन्यवाद।
Pakistan military carrying out aggressive actions employing multiple threat vectors all along the western border. Pakistan employed fighter aircrafts to target civilian areas. Pakistan military also resorted to air intrusions, heavy caliber weapons along the line of control. Along the international border and the line of controls, air intrusion and several harassment attacks were also attempted from Srinagar till Nalia at more than 26 locations. Indian Armed Forces successfully neutralized these threats and majority of the vectors. However, limited damage was sustained to equipment and personnel at Indian Air Force stations at Udhampur, Pathankot, Adampur and Bhuj. There were also several high-speed missile attacks noticed subsequently after 0140 hours in the night at several air bases in Punjab. In a deplorable cowardly act, targeting of civilian infrastructure also had taken place, where Pakistan attacked the Medicare Center and school premises at the air bases of Srinagar, Avanti and Udhampur, yet again displaying irresponsible targeting of our civilian infrastructure. In a swift and calibrated response, Indian Armed Forces carried out precision attacks only on identified military targets. These included technical infrastructure, command and control centers, radar sites and weapon storage areas. Pakistan military targets at Rafiqi, Murid, Chaklala, Rahim Yar Khan, Sukur and Chunya were engaged using air-launched precision weapons from our fighter aircraft. Radar site at Pasroor and Sialkot Aviation Base were also targeted using precision munitions. While carrying out these responses, India ensured minimum collateral damage. Pakistan has also attempted to execute a continued malicious misinformation campaign with claims of destruction of Indian S-400 system at Adampur, destruction of airfields at Suratgarh and Sirsa, BrahMos base at Nagrota, RT gun positions at Dehrang Yari and Chandigarh forward ammunition depot, with heavy damages to other military stations being propagated on social media. India unequivocally rejects these false narratives being spread by Pakistan. Along the line of control also, Pakistan has attempted multiple air intrusions using drones and conducted shelling using heavy caliber RT guns, targeting civilian infrastructure and killing some civilians. Heavy exchange of artillery mortars and small arm fire in Kupwara, Baramulla, Poonch, Rajouri and Akhnur sectors continued. Indian Army has responded effectively and proportionately, causing extensive damage to Pakistan Army. Pak military has been observed to be moving their troops into forward areas, indicating offensive intent to further escalate the situation. Indian Armed Forces remain in a high state of operational readiness. All hostile actions have been effectively countered and responded appropriately. Indian Armed Forces reiterate their commitment to non-escalation, provided it is reciprocated by the Pakistan military. At the end, I would also like to show you a few images of Air Force bases in the Punjab sector and Rajasthan sector, where it is mighty clear that we are debunking the Pakistani claims of causing destruction at these air bases. You can yourself see the normalcy in these Air Force stations. This is Sirsa, Suratgarh. The runways are intact. There are also time pads, just notice, they are also time stamped. This is today. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Colonel Qureshi. Thank you, Wing Commander Singh. I just have a few points to make in closing. First of all, as you have seen, Pakistani claims about activities that they have undertaken continue to be heavy on lies, misinformation, and propaganda. And on top of that, this is peddled by Pakistani state agencies. The claims that they have made about attacking and destroying various places, various military installations and facilities, as has been pointed out by my colleagues here this morning, are completely false. The claim about the Air Force station in Sirsa being destroyed, completely false, as you've seen. The claim about the Air Force station in Suratgarh being destroyed, completely false again, as you have seen. There's a claim that has been made that the S-400 base at Adampur was destroyed, completely false, once again. Claims have been made about large sections of Indian critical infrastructure, power systems, cyber systems, etc., being attacked and destroyed, completely false. I would urge all of you and all those who watch this not to be misled by this tissue of lies that is being peddled by the Pakistani state for obvious purposes. The second point that I wanted to emphasize is that Pakistan continues with its execrable and wanton campaign of targeting civilians and civilian infrastructure, especially in the states of Jammu and Kashmir and Punjab. There is also on its part a consistent attempt to sow discord between communities in India. As I said, there has been a particular focus in its targeting of civilian infrastructure and the population in Jammu and Kashmir and Punjab. Earlier this morning, Pakistan shelled the town of Rajouri, killing the additional District Development Commissioner, Shri Rajkumar Thappa, adding to the civilian casualties and the damage in that state. We have also observed overnight damage to property and injuries to civilians in Firozpur and Jalandhar, among other places. Finally, as I said, Pakistani officials also continue to make ludicrous claims about India firing missiles towards Sri Amritsar Sahib. As I said, these lame attempts to divide India are doomed to failure. We have also seen in some of the remarks that have been shown on television that the Pakistani army spokesman seems to take great joy at the fact that the Indian public should criticize the government of India with regard to various issues. It may be a surprise to Pakistan to see citizens criticizing their own government. That is the hallmark of an open and functioning democracy. Pakistan's unfamiliarity with that, again, should not be surprising. And finally, there is this yet again completely ludicrous claim that Indian missiles have hit Afghanistan. Totally frivolous allegation, and I only want to point out that Afghan people don't need to be reminded about which country it is that has on multiple occasions in just the last 1.5 years targeted civilian populations and civilian infrastructure in Afghanistan. Ladies and gentlemen, as you would have gathered from this morning's briefing, we are dealing with an evolving situation. Accordingly, today we don't have the time to take questions, but we will continue to update you on this situation as we go along. Thank you all very much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to this press briefing by Foreign Secretary Shri Vikram Mishri on the ongoing developments around Operation Sindoor. We are also joined by Colonel Sophia Qureshi and Wing Commander Vyomika Singh for this briefing. With that, sir, the floor is over to you.
Thank you, Mandeep. Good morning. Namaskar. Sorry to keep you all waiting. जैसा कि हम पिछले 2-3 प्रेस ब्रीफिंग्स में भी बता चुके हैं, ये पाकिस्तानी गतिविधियां हैं पिछले 2-3 दिन से, जो एक एस्केलेटरी तौर पे देखी जा रही हैं और प्रोवोकेटिव तौर पे देखी जा रही हैं. I've said on numerous earlier occasions, it is Pakistani actions that have constituted provocation and escalation. In response, and I repeat, in response, India has defended and reacted in a responsible and measured fashion to these provocations and these escalations by the Pakistani side. Earlier this morning, we saw a repeat of this escalatory and provocative pattern, and I'll invite Colonel Sophia Qureshi and Wing Commander Vyomika Singh to update you on the developments since early this morning. Colonel Qureshi.
थैंक यू सर. नमस्कार. पाकिस्तान सेना ने पूरी पश्चिम मोर्चे पर लगातार आक्रामक गतिविधियां जारी रखी. उसमें यूकैप ड्रोन्स, लॉन्ग रेंज वेपन्स, लॉइटरिंग म्यूनिशंस और लड़ाकू विमानों का उपयोग कर भारतीय सैन्य ढांचे को निशाना बनाया. नियंत्रण रेखा पर भी ड्रोन घुसपैठ और भारी कैलिबर हथियारों से गोलाबारी की. अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सीमा और एलओसी पर श्रीनगर से नलिया तक 26 से अधिक स्थानों पर हवाई घुसपैठ के प्रयास किए गए. भारतीय सशस्त्र बलों ने अधिकांश खतरों को सफलतापूर्वक निष्क्रिय किया. फिर भी वायु सेना स्टेशनों पर उधमपुर, पठानकोट, आदमपुर और भुज बठिंडा स्टेशन, इन सब पर उपकरण व पर्सनल्स को हानि पहुंचाई. मैं ये भी बताना चाहती हूं कि पाकिस्तान ने हाई स्पीड मिसाइल सुबह 1:40 पर इस्तेमाल करके पंजाब के एयरबेस स्टेशन को दागने की कोशिश की. एक निंदनीय और अनप्रोफेशनल एक्ट के तहत पाकिस्तान ने श्रीनगर, अवंतीपुर और उधमपुर के वायु सेना अड्डों पर चिकित्सा केंद्र और स्कूल परिसर को निशाना भी बनाया, जिससे उसके द्वारा सिविल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर हमला करने की गैर जिम्मेदाराना प्रवृत्ति फिर उजागर हुई. पाकिस्तान द्वारा सैन्य ठिकानों को जानबूझकर निशाना बनाने के पश्चात भारतीय सशस्त्र बलों ने त्वरित व सुनियोजित जवाबी हमले किए. टेक्निकल इंस्टॉलेशंस, कमांड एंड कंट्रोल सेंटर्स, रडार साइट्स और हथियार भंडार को चुनकर निशाना बनाया गया. रफीकी, मुरीद, चकलाला, रहमियार खान, सुकूर और चुनिया स्थित पाक सैन्य ठिकानों पर एयर लॉन्च्ड सटीक हथियारों व लड़ाकू जेट से प्रहार किए गए। पसरूर स्थित रडार साइट और सियालकोट का एविएशन बेस भी प्रिसीजन एम्यूनिशन से टारगेट किए गए। इन कार्रवाइयों के दौरान भारत ने कम से कम कोलैटरल डैमेज की क्षति सुनिश्चित की। चिंता का विषय यह रहा कि पाकिस्तान ने लाहौर से उड़ान भरने वाले नागरिक विमानों की आड़ लेकर अंतर्राष्ट्रीय हवाई मार्गों का दुरुपयोग किया ताकि वह अपनी गतिविधियां छिपा सके। ऐसी चालों ने भारतीय वायु प्रतिरक्षा तंत्र को नागरिक सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित करते हुए अत्यधिक संयम के साथ कार्य करने के लिए विवश किया। साथ ही साथ पाकिस्तान ने मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन का सहारा लेते हुए आदमपुर स्थित S-400 प्रणाली, सूरतगढ़ व सिरसा के हवाई अड्डों, नगरोटा के ब्रह्मोस बेस, देहरागिरी के तोपखाना पोजीशन तथा चंडीगढ़ के अग्रिम गोला बारूद डिपो को नष्ट करने के झूठे दावे सोशल मीडिया पर फैलाए। भारत इन फॉल्स नैरेटिव्स को पूर्णतः खारिज करता है। नियंत्रण रेखा पर पाकिस्तान ने ड्रोन घुसपैठ और भारी तोपखाना गोलाबारी के कई प्रयास किए। कुपवाड़ा, बारामूला, पुंछ, राजौरी और अखनूर सेक्टर्स में तोप, मोर्टार एवं हल्के हथियारों से भीषण गोलाबारी जारी रही। भारतीय सेना ने प्रभावी व तुलनात्मक प्रत्युत्तर देते हुए पाक सेना को काफी क्षति पहुंचाई। पाकिस्तान सेना के अग्रिम क्षेत्रों में सैनिकों की डिप्लॉयमेंट बढ़ती दिख रही है, जो स्थिति को और भड़काने की मंशा दर्शाती है। भारतीय सशस्त्र बल पूर्ण परिचालन तत्परता की स्थिति में हैं। अभी तक सभी शत्रुतापूर्ण कार्रवाइयों का प्रभावी ढंग से सामना कर उपयुक्त जवाब दिया गया है। भारतीय सशस्त्र बल दोहराते हैं कि वे तनाव वृद्धि नहीं चाहते, बशर्ते पाकिस्तान भी ऐसा ही व्यवहार करे। आखिर में आपको कुछ वीडियो दिखाना चाहती हूं जहां पर इंडियन आर्मी के वेपन्स LOC पर पाक के एसेट्स को ध्वस्त करते नजर आ रहे हैं। स्क्रीन में आप देख सकते हैं इस वीडियो को। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद।
Pakistan military continued with its provocations, carrying out aggressive actions employing multiple threat vectors all along the western border. Pakistan employed UCAV, drones, long-range weapons, loitering munitions and fighter aircrafts to target civilian areas and military infrastructure. Pakistan military also resorted to air intrusions using drones and firing of heavy caliber weapons along the line of control. Along the international border and the line of controls, air intrusion and several harassment attacks were also attempted from Srinagar till Nalia at more than 26 locations. Indian Armed Forces successfully neutralized these threats and majority of the vectors. However, limited damage was sustained to equipment and personnel at Indian Air Force stations at Udhampur, Pathankot, Adampur and Bhuj. There were also several high-speed missile attacks noticed subsequently after 0140 hours in the night at several air bases in Punjab. In a deplorable cowardly act, targeting of civilian infrastructure also had taken place, where Pakistan attacked the Medicare center and school premises at the air bases of Srinagar, Avantipur and Udhampur, yet again displaying irresponsible targeting of our civilian infrastructure. In a swift and calibrated response, Indian Armed Forces carried out precision attacks only on identified military targets. These included technical infrastructure, command and control centers, radar sites and weapon storage areas. Pakistan military targets at Rafiqi, Murid, Chaklala, Rahim Yar Khan, Sukur and Chunya were engaged using air-launched precision weapons from our fighter aircraft. Radar site at Pasroor and Sialkot Aviation Base were also targeted using precision munitions. While carrying out these responses, India ensured minimum collateral damage. Pakistan has also attempted to execute a continued malicious misinformation campaign with claims of destruction of Indian S-400 system at Adampur, destruction of airfields at Suratgarh and Sirsa, BrahMos base at Nagrota, RT gun positions at Derang Yari and Chandigarh forward ammunition depot, with heavy damages to other military stations being propagated on social media. India unequivocally rejects these false narratives being spread by Pakistan. Along the line of control also, Pakistan has attempted multiple air intrusions using drones and conducted shelling using heavy caliber RT guns, targeting civilian infrastructure and killing some civilians. Heavy exchange of artillery mortars and small arm fire in Kupwara, Baramulla, Poonch, Rajouri and Akhnur sectors continued. Indian Army has responded effectively and proportionately, causing extensive damage to Pakistan Army. Pak military has been observed to be moving their troops into forward areas, indicating offensive intent to further escalate the situation. Indian Armed Forces remain in a high state of operational readiness. All hostile actions have been effectively countered and responded appropriately. Indian Armed Forces reiterate their commitment to non-escalation, provided it is reciprocated by the Pakistan military. At the end, I would also like to show you a few images of Air Force bases in the Punjab sector and Rajasthan sector, where it is mighty clear that we are debunking the Pakistani claims of causing destruction at these air bases. You can yourself see the normalcy in these Air Force stations. This is Sirsa, Suratgarh. The runways are intact. There are also time stamps, just notice, they are also time stamped. This is today. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Colonel Qureshi. Thank you, Wing Commander Singh. I just have a few points to make in closing. First of all, as you have seen, Pakistani claims about activities that they have undertaken continue to be heavy on lies, misinformation and propaganda. And on top of that, this is peddled by Pakistani state agencies. The claims that they have made about attacking and destroying various places, various military installations and facilities, as has been pointed out by my colleagues here this morning, are completely false. The claim about the Air Force station in Sirsa being destroyed, completely false, as you've seen. The claim about the Air Force station in Suratgarh being destroyed, completely false again, as you have seen. There's a claim that has been made that the S-400 base at Adampur was destroyed, completely false once again. Claims have been made about large sections of Indian critical infrastructure, power systems, cyber systems, etc. being attacked and destroyed, completely false. I would urge all of you and all those who watch this not to be misled by this tissue of lies that is being peddled by the Pakistani state for obvious purposes. The second point that I wanted to emphasize is that Pakistan continues with its execrable and wanton campaign of targeting civilians and civilian infrastructure, especially in the states of Jammu and Kashmir and Punjab. There is also on its part a consistent attempt to sow discord between communities in India. As I said, there has been a particular focus in its targeting of civilian infrastructure and the population in Jammu and Kashmir and Punjab. Earlier this morning, Pakistan shelled the town of Rajouri, killing the additional District Development Commissioner Shri Rajkumar Thappa, adding to the civilian casualties and the damage in that state. We have also observed overnight damage to property and injuries to civilians in Firozpur and Jalandhar, among other places. Finally, as I said, Pakistani officials also continue to make ludicrous claims about India firing missiles towards Sri Amritsar Sahib. As I said, these lame attempts to divide India are doomed to failure. We have also seen in some of the remarks that have been shown on television that the Pakistani army spokesman seems to take great joy at the fact that the Indian public should criticize the government of India with regard to various issues. It may be a surprise to Pakistan to see citizens criticizing their own government. That is the hallmark of an open and functioning democracy. Pakistan's unfamiliarity with that, again, should not be surprising. And finally, there is this yet again completely ludicrous claim that Indian missiles have hit Afghanistan. Totally frivolous allegation, and I only want to point out that Afghan people don't need to be reminded about which country it is that has on multiple occasions in just the last 1.5 years targeted civilian populations and civilian infrastructure in Afghanistan. Ladies and gentlemen, as you would have gathered from this morning's briefing, we are dealing with an evolving situation. Accordingly, today we don't have the time to take questions, but we will continue to update you on this situation as we go along. Thank you all very much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, everyone. So we begin the proceedings. I request all the standing delegates to kindly take their respective seats and clear the hall. I again make a request to kindly take your respective seats. We are about to begin the proceedings. Dr. S. Jaishankar, Honorable Minister of External Affairs, Government of India. Shri Ashwini Vaishnav, Honorable Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Railways and Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. Dr. L. Murugan, Honorable Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting and Parliamentary Affairs, Government of India. Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, Ambassadors, High Commissioners, and distinguished delegates of the participating countries of this global media dialogue. A very good morning and a warm welcome to you all to the Global Media Dialogue of 2025. This Global Media Dialogue has been conceived as a government-to-government platform within waves to harness the full potential of the media and entertainment sector as a catalyst for positive change and global harmony. The sessions ahead will offer a unique opportunity to share experiences, address common challenges, and forge new pathways for cooperation under the guiding vision of the WAVES framework. Thank you all for being here and for contributing to what promises to be an enriching and fruitful dialogue. It is my honor to invite the honorable chairs now to deliver the opening remarks. May I request Honorable Minister of Information and Broadcasting, Railways, Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India, Shri Ashwini Vaishnav ji, to deliver the opening remarks for today's session. Sir.
Thank you. Honorable Minister for External Affairs and my senior colleague, Dr. Jayashankar, my colleague in the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Dr. Murugan, Secretary Jaju, Excellencies from across the world, Honorable Ministers and distinguished delegates. Namaste. Wish you all a very warm welcome to Mumbai. I hope the city is treating you well. This is the city of dreams, as we say in India. My friends, it's a privilege for India to convene the first ever World Audio Visual Entertainment Summit, WAVES, and initiate the global media dialogue on this fabulous world of creativity. Friends, we meet at an inflection point. Technologies are reshaping how we tell stories, how we create content, and how content is consumed. Globally, the media and entertainment industry is valued around $3 trillion US dollars, but its true value goes far beyond the numbers. The true value lies in the empathy that it creates, in the ideas that it conveys, and in the future that it helps us imagine. Today we invite you to help widen this bridge into an expressway of ideas. We can clearly see three anchors for our dialogue: creativity, culture, and collaboration. First, creativity. Creativity transforms imagination into shared experience. As a government, we must provide a fair chance for everyone to showcase their story to the world. We must incentivize local content promotion and enforce IP rights in a proper framework, among other things that we need to do in creativity. Second, culture. Culture inspires creativity and it connects people across borders. We must support policies that preserve and promote all cultural forms. Focus is shifting towards local stories, the local culture, and we aim to build people-to-people and country-to-country exchanges. Third, collaboration. Friends, nothing happens in an island. We all have to collaborate for common success. We believe that tie-ups, collaborations between government, industry, and creators, and government to government, these collaborations have a huge value. Practical steps in this include co-production treaties, easing licenses, easing talent movement, having joint funds, having jointly created standards, and clear rules for the upcoming technology. Excellencies, the expected outcome of this dialogue is a constructive declaration. A draft global media dialogue declaration has been shared with your offices. I thank you all for working very diligently on it. The teams from across the world are working on it. This draft declaration captures our shared goals: bridging the digital divide, preserving cultural diversity, and fostering fair and innovative markets. Today's roundtable is a chance to shape the text so that it reflects every region and every aspiration. Thank you, Excellencies. We look forward to hearing your thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Now it is my privilege to invite the Honorable Minister for External Affairs, Government of India, Dr. S. Jayashankar, to share his opening remarks. Sir.
Thank you very much. My ministerial colleagues, Ashwini Vaishnav ji, Murugan ji, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure great honor to address the Global Media Dialogue of the first WAVE Summit. And I thank the ministers and distinguished heads of organizations and all the delegates from across the world for your participation and presence here today. We have a microcosm of the global community at WAVES. Content creators, policymakers, actors, writers, producers, visual artists, and others. And the lively conversations and the intense networking that we seek to promote are supplemented by exhibitions, innovation pavilions, creativity bazaars, and technology kiosks. This conversation at the beginning of day 2, however, holds a special significance because we are discussing as policymakers the contours of the emerging environment. So allow me on this occasion to make 5 points for your collective consideration. 1, we all speak of a world under transformation. It is vital to recognize that the process of change actually has a strong cultural dimension. The truth is that the world is intrinsically and essentially diverse, and that pluralism has been suppressed in the past by both colonialism and big power dominance. As we seek now to democratize the international system, it is not enough to just assert political and economic independence. It is equally essential that we give voice to our traditions, to our heritage, to ideas, to practices, and to our creativity. There are many voices, many experiences, and many truths that make up our world. Each one has a right to express itself and must be facilitated to do so. 2, that is best done by harnessing more effectively the power of technology. In its application and evolution, we must be guided by the belief that modernity is not a rejection of the past, but a constant quest built on human achievements. For that reason, technology and tradition must go hand in hand. In many ways, technology can strengthen awareness of our vast heritage and deepen consciousness about it, especially for younger generations. We also bear in mind that innovation is key to the leapfrogging that will create a developed India by 2047, what we call Viksit Bharat. 3, as the world comes closer, we can contemplate both a global workplace and a global workforce. Both digital connectivity and physical logistics make this a growing reality. But we need accompanying shifts in mindsets, frameworks, policies, and practices. Remember, neither talent nor tasking will be stationary. Smoother mobility can certainly contribute to stronger creativity. 4, every era has its own mode of communication, of storytelling, of entertainment, and of its pastimes. We have seen it evolve from the oral and the written to the visual and the digital. Today, there is a surfeit of information, and the challenge is actually how to get attention. This challenge is what will make ours an age of creative comms, of creative sports, of creative collaboration. And it is particularly important that young talent is made ready for it, including through skills diffusion. And finally, 5, we all sense, we all know that the era of AI holds possibilities beyond imagination. Never before have we visualized such deep changes across such vast domains. Never before can we combine innovations from such diverse fields so effectively. Our very sense of the past and the present can be redefined even as we are working for the future with all its accompanying consequences. Now, every advancement comes with its own issues, and AI will be no different. Even as the politics of this era will grapple with the concerns of authenticity, businesses will have to deal with new intellectual property challenges as they promote innovation and creativity for all. The responsible use of emerging technologies will be an increasing preoccupation. Reducing bias, democratizing content, and prioritizing its ethics are all part of the emerging discourse. And there is much more there that will unfold. So, friends, I'm confident that the WAVES platform will serve to deliberate on the key issues before the global media, entertainment, and creative worlds. Once again, I welcome you all to this session and look forward to a productive roundtable. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Honorable Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, for those insightful and forward-looking remarks, sir. I now request the members of the media to leave the meeting so that we can commence the proceedings.
My ministerial colleague, Shri Jain Chaudhary ji, Ashish Dhawan ji, Manish Sabharwal ji, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to join you all this morning for the launch of the Gati Foundation. I wish this initiative all the best as it seeks to promote and facilitate global access to talent from India. As you would all note, the two key words here are talent and global. And in many ways, bringing them together has been the responsibility of the Ministry of External Affairs. For reasons that I will dwell upon, it will be even more so in the times to come. Let us start with talent. At our current stage of development, there are two realities that stand out. One, that in the past, we have not developed and therefore not leveraged our human resources to the extent we could and should have. And the other, that it is not feasible for India to develop rapidly by emulating the pathway of other successful Asian economies that preceded it in the last few decades. The drivers of our growth are different, as is indeed the landscape, and I would argue the strategy. It is this awareness that has contributed, amongst others, to the government's approach towards a Viksit Bharat. Now, all of us are familiar with a wide range of initiatives and programs that have targeted the socio-economic welfare domain in the last decade. They start with child and maternal health, immunization, school admission and retention, access to electricity, piped water and roads, and move on to nutrition, to housing, to health coverage, and to support for entrepreneurships at different scales. These are supplemented by making it easier to do business, by improving the ease of living, by building a modern, accessible, and affordable infrastructure, expanding skills and education capacity, and promoting make, design, innovate, and research in India. I sum it up in this manner because typically we are used to looking at each of these aspects in their particular silos. But if you consider the cumulative impact of all these developments, it is clear that we have now entered a cycle of sustainable talent creation on a major scale in this country. The issue then arises as to how that talent is nurtured, how it is expanded, deployed, and upgraded. Much of that, obviously, has to happen at home. And this has its own debates and discussions, including how best we accelerate manufacturing, whether technology can be generated without deepening our industrial culture, the optimization of agriculture and food processing, the support for self-employment, startups and innovation, and not least, the vistas opened up by our digital and AI future. Now, in all of that, the world can and does play a role. Foreign investment, collaboration, and trade are some of the noteworthy dimensions. Outsourcing, understandably, also got its fair share of attention. More recently, there is, I would say, greater interest in the growth of global capability centers, GCCs, in India that take the quality of economic activity to a much higher level. However, while recognizing the value of all these endeavors, it is necessary that we also pay greater attention to opportunities beyond our borders. And the reason for that is the emergence of the global workplace with a global workforce. These are phenomena spurred by sharp demographic changes, demands of new technologies and their diffusion, compatibilities in culture and work ethos, as well as the premium put on trust and resilience in many fields. Each of these are an outcome of a particular trend in world affairs, whether it is social habits accompanying development, the impact and deployment of creative products and services, sharper strategic competition among major powers, or the insecurities from the COVID experience. Now, we are gathered here, all of us, to explore the opportunities for Indian talent in such a scenario. And I truly believe that these are significant enough to warrant greater attention and effort from all of us. There are currently roughly about 34 million Indians and PIOs living and working abroad. About half of them, again that's a very approximate figure, half of them are our citizens. Perhaps a third are located in the Gulf, and the rest of them are spread across other geographies, mostly developed economies. However, given the trends that I spoke about, the possibility of expanding that even in the near term is very serious. Bear in mind that we Indians have also developed by now a strong history of employment exploration abroad. Obviously, we are not unique in this regard, but nevertheless, we are unusual in that this has been sustained over several generations to differing regions at various levels of skills. As a result, there is the techie, the entrepreneur, and the professional in the United States, the blue collar and the service provider in the Gulf, the self-employed and the agri sector in Europe and North America, as well as the scientists and researchers in so many other countries. Moreover, many global professions like seafaring, airlines, and the hospitality sector have already tapped into our human resources pool in a significant level. That there are so many students abroad is also a factor, as they often transition into jobs. Economies like Australia or Germany have seen a significant increase of working Indians in the last few years. Through migration and mobility partnerships, as well as specialized skilled workers agreements with 22 nations, we have created a pathway as well as a brand. Now, let me emphasize that these are not hypothetical possibilities or even prospects that are somewhere on the horizon. The need for talent abroad is a situation that is actually upon us today. Let me give you some concrete examples. Only yesterday, and the Japanese ambassador is sitting here before me, the Speaker of Japan was here to advocate an action plan that would create a concrete and predictable flow of Indian skills to his country. It would help take forward the SSW, the Specialized Skilled Workers Agreement, that we had concluded a few years ago. Let me give you another. Israel, as an example, where there is already a flow of workers in different domains. Mauritius has a similar demand and has concluded an understanding with us. Malaysia has opened up many more sectors to Indian skills, especially construction. We have been traditionally a source country for Singapore, and their requirement will upgrade even as their economy does. The German Chancellor was here last October, and he spoke of increasing the employment visas for Indians by 4x. My counterparts in Italy, and again I note the ambassador here before me, in Italy, in Spain, in Austria, and Greece, have all shown appetite to tap into our human resources pool as urgently and effectively as possible. This, I emphasize, is just the tip of the iceberg, and we must prepare for what is below the waterline. My short point is that there is a demand in the world, an availability in India, and the basic groundwork done to enable Indian talent to gain global access is there. Now, how well they do that and what will be the scale, I think that is up to us. Having just come from the Waves gathering in Mumbai, where the orange economy of culture, creativity, and identity was explored, I am tempted to continue this presentation with a further metaphor of colors. So let me start with the green and the brown economies, with their associated infrastructure as a good place to begin. They will clearly coexist for some time to come, but each will become smarter and infuse newer technologies. They will require a wide spectrum of talent that will grow both in size and complexity. We have already witnessed in the Gulf increasing demand for such human resources. I should add, by the way of example, that today, if one looks as to where Indian nationals live and work, the two largest economies are not the US and UK as people typically think. They are actually UAE and Saudi Arabia. That there is an infrastructure surge in India adds to the experience and capabilities of our corporates and of our personnel. In some sectors like renewable energy, water or power transmission, our people are already securing openings by their track record at home. This applies to the managerial as well as the working levels. At a time when our engineering and vocational training institutions are growing rapidly, the ability to address this market has actually improved. But again, it is the connect to the employment space through networking and customizing the workforce, which is the challenge that must be addressed. So let me now move to the white and silver economies, and they are experiencing an even more acute shortage of trained personnel. In many developed societies, health demands are rising even as the local talent pool is shrinking. Innovative practices and new technologies can only partially fill that gap. As our own medical and nursing schools expand, these possibilities can be more effectively exploited. Particularly in these sectors, there is a strong cultural and linguistic element for which we need to cater. There are then an assorted mix from the orange and the gold to the blue and the green that will clearly benefit from greater digitization. So too will other domains in an era of all-encompassing change. Such times will require not only new mindsets and frameworks, but also the accompanying mobility and interactions. We have already seen the semiconductor and emerging technology projects all over the world slow down because of inadequate availability of talent. Some countries have a history of addressing such situations, Others are now getting into that game. And what I do want to say is that similarly, global service sectors like shipping, airlines, and hospitality are today struggling with post-COVID challenges, including attitude towards work demands. So all of this today really opens up new opportunities for those more willing. There is naturally the issue of how we adjust to the demands of the global workplace to optimize benefits. Conceptually, it is vital that we promote legal mobility and strongly discourage, I would argue even prohibit, non-legal ones. The challenge of the black economy has to be faced from the viewpoint of the talent flow, our societal good, as well as of national security. Currently, mobility is largely regulated by the Immigration Act 1983, which was designed to address the demands of a particular geography in a certain era. However, times have changed and our vistas have expanded. We need to be more promotional and aware of new possibilities, even while taking care of the vulnerable. This issue is currently being examined by the government. It is natural that as more Indians travel abroad, that the expectations they have of their government are carried with them. The last decade has brought up numerous situations where evacuation operations had to be undertaken. But even as a routine exercise, our citizens legitimately expect, to be backed up in difficult situations. It may be a quick replacement of a lost passport, or the predicament of those who are not paid their wages or mistreated by their foreign employers. It can be cultural situations where the rights of Indians are not adequately respected. These baskets of issues have gained salience in our diplomatic endeavors, from establishing an effective grievance portal to creating a responsive fund for the needs of the vulnerable. We have sought to institutionalize and to routinize taking care of Indians abroad. It is only then that they will have the confidence to fully explore the global workplace. Friends, our government today has initiated a range of skills training, vocational education, and professional preparation efforts for the Indian workforce to be more productive in the contemporary era. However, the magnitude of opportunities before us are so large that it takes a whole of the nation approach to be fully realized. This is an effort in which the contribution of every stakeholder is valuable and welcomed. As we contemplate our engagement with the world, as India moves up to become the third largest economy, much of this will be people-centric. Our talents and our skills will not only be a resource we have to bring to the table, but will be very much part of our branding and of our reputation. A more interdependent and technology-driven world, with all its challenges and needs, will only put a greater premium on it. It is up to us to make the most of these times, and we look forward to working with you in that regard. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Good morning. Namaskar. There's a running joke in the news media that Elon Musk is the co-president of the United States. It is not true, but it is relevant to our session and our discussion because we are talking about the intersection between governments and businesses and how they shape our world. We are in the middle of a major geopolitical realignment, and corporate entities play a crucial role here. You see Western companies banding up with Western governments. You see Chinese companies banding up with the Chinese regime. So it's not just country versus country anymore. It is a country plus its companies versus others. And this is not necessarily new. You may have heard of a certain East India company and you know how that played out. But in today's context, how will this new equation impact big power play and big power rivalries. That's what we'll discuss. We have a crack panel here. Good morning to all of you. Joel Kaplan, let me start with you. The US administration, the new US administration, prefers fewer social media regulations, even when it comes to fact checks. And companies like Meta have responded to this by ending third-party fact-checking. But in Europe, social media regulation is a top priority. So is that going to be the future of platforms like Meta, where you don't have a uniform policy or principle, you just operate or respond to the country that you're operating in?
Well, first of all, Palki, thank you for having me on the panel. It's an honor to be here with the Honorable Minister and the other august guests. I mean, there is obviously been a change in administration in Washington, and I would say the Trump administration does have a very different orientation towards social media companies, but towards American companies and American tech in particular than the prior administration did. And while it's true that President Trump and his administration are much more interested in expanding the freedom of expression online than the prior administration was, I actually think that the bigger change, at least that we're experiencing as a company and as a sector, is that we have an administration in Washington that is interested in promoting American technology, advancing Western values in technology, and honestly defending American tech companies against what they perceive to be a discriminatory regulation targeted at them. That's something we've seen particularly in the EU over the last number of years, and I think it is a change, and one that we're experiencing and are candidly quite pleased about, to have an administration that's prepared to defend American values online and American companies again against what we and they perceive to be unfair targeting. When it comes to the changes that we've made recently around fact checking, we found that we know that people don't want to see misinformation on our platforms. It's not good for us. It's not good for them. But the system that we had put in place a number of years ago to deal with the third-party fact-checking program just proved to be too prone to political and partisan bias, and had destroyed at least as much trust and credibility as it had built. And so we decided to replace that system with another approach that leverages the many different voices and people and diverse perspectives on our platform, a system called Community Notes, which is sort of like, you can imagine, think about Wikipedia and think about the way other platforms have relied on community-based systems to provide more context and more information. We think that's going to be really promising.
But will you stick to that even in countries where there's a repressive regime or stifling of free speech or human rights?
Well, we're starting it in the United States. It's rolling out in the next couple of weeks. We're going to take our time to make sure that we understand how it's working and that we get it right. And then we'll look to expand to other countries. And of course, we'll take into consideration the different information ecosystems and news ecosystems that exist in different markets and different countries. And we'll make sure that we do it deliberately and carefully.
Pier Roberto Folgiero, protectionism clearly is creeping up across the world, with the US becoming the unexpected flag bearer of it. How much of an impact will these trade and tariff barriers / wars have on trade volume and global trade?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for this invitation, and I'm very honored to be at the same panel with the minister. But let me say that what we are living is the geopolitics of shipbuilding. We are shipbuilders. We build ships in 5 continents. But all of a sudden, the world realized the geopolitical power of shipbuilding. Western countries abandoned shipbuilding something like 20 years ago. So the vast majority of ships in terms of tonnage are built in between China and Korea. So all Western countries are rethinking the strategic importance of this industry. US, first of all, and China is somehow having a long-term view on the importance of the maritime economy, starting from shipbuilding as a building block, moving to logistic business, all the way to owning port infrastructure. Now it's time to rebalance all this. What remains in Western countries is technology-driven shipbuilding. So those kind of ships in which the payload is making the difference. So when the cost of a ship is driven by cost of the steel, cost of the labor, and cost of the energy, it was lost. When these three components accounts for 80%, is lost. When the payload is the most important part of the total, then we can be still relevant. So this is this new era. We believe that this know-how in technology-driven shipbuilding is the way to think of the future shipbuilding. So that's why we are very
Full home coverage made easy with Act Smart Wi-Fi.
Very interested in joining forces through a common geopolitical platform, but joining forces in order to go for a kind of renaissance of shipbuilding in a way that is instrumental to this new geopolitical order. So this is our focus, and we believe this is the way ahead.
I'll come to shipbuilding in particular in a bit. Let me get Marianne Dimarli in the conversation. SWIFT describes itself as a neutral entity with a global character. So I would say this model is based on trust and consistency. Yet SWIFT has become a tool of Western foreign policy, as seen in the war in Ukraine with Russian banks being cut off. Would you say that undermines your claims of neutrality?
Well, thank you. Good morning to all, and thanks for your question. Well, indeed, I mean, SWIFT is a global cooperative. We are headquartered in Belgium, so under EU law, but we are present in more than 200 countries. We are connecting the world, the economic and financial world, actually, through more than 11,500 financial institutions all across the world, including, of course, in India. And we are also completely currency agnostic, supporting 150 currencies and so forth. So this is our global nature. We are really keen on being seen as a digital infrastructure, as a public good. Indeed, I mean, we are so based in Europe. There has been sanctions imposed on us and other companies, which we had to apply. But we are really committed to, maintain and to show to the world our global nature. We are evolving also our corporate governance to make it more inclusive. And we are, as I said, I mean, we are here, we are a non-profit company. Okay, and as a non-profit company, we're not maximizing on revenue. What we are maximizing on is to ensure that we maximize the value of what we offer to the global ecosystem. We are here to try to resolve some complex challenges, so building the future of tomorrow or the future of finance of tomorrow. Given what you just said, I mean, geopolitical tensions, the global growth of digitization, the embracement of digitization, which all these can have pros and cons, but can also increase fragmentation.
But can you still claim to be neutral, was my question.
Yeah, we are. I mean, we are a neutral company, but we have to be headquartered somewhere. And, so we are incorporated in Europe. it's all the banks in the world have decided, it was 100 banks at the time, now it's 11,500, have decided to incorporate this organization in Europe, and we have to follow European law. But as a company, we have a board which is very representative of many different regions. We are evolving that corporate governance to be even more neutral and representative of all parts of the world. We are present in all the world, and what is really important is not necessarily this part, if I may. What is important is that we really need, in these geopolitical tensions, new proliferation of payment systems here